Roughly 12 girls.
He's 13.
12. Is there a way we can set up this? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's the, here's
It's a, it's a,
right. So,
I'll see you later.
what are the main templates? Here are the main templates.
All right, thank you. And I might go well. Hello. Isn't that what flies? You know, so it's.
One.
Well, I mean, yes, she and I can confirm via text. Right, send
I
it.
just didn't see her say yes.
Yeah, so she's not always real great about confirming on people, but yes, she and I chatted via text to find a good time, and she confirmed that social services is up by the transportation center now. I was like, yep, that's where, so.
We already see something by tomorrow.
Oh, no, is it a little toasty up there?
Yeah, well, I think they're adjusting the fence. We had adjust small fence. They're still on. Get some air.
Well, if we need to move it to my office, we can.
I'm sending it in back right now. That's a legit conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good, yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Can you wait for?
Well, can you wait?
Yeah. Stay wait.
Right, yeah.
Well, I can't imagine, but
Let's not start with something else.
she was a practical. Her first response was for the salaries. All this was off the site. Outside. the unit.
But, you know,
They're in a position to do that.
So, that's just- Yeah, because I was like, oh, it's well. Next year, next year.
I mean,
That's what I'm.
it was a retention office and we're not. Hold that from them. I mean, when I was, maybe it was my first year, they overpaid me. Yeah, it's just what they did. They didn't let me. It's what it is. Like, entire paycheck. Hi, how are you? Very stringy, very summery.
I was like, oh, that's nice. I never get dressed up anymore. Sometimes I'll dress up when we'll just go wherever we want today. On here.
I mean, I don't even need those information, I'm sorry, just need the motion to accept it.
We're tardy.
We have three.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bird, John, Fox, requirement. We don't have our little labels out tonight, so we just take the chances.
I meant that, not the way it sounded, you know.
I didn't, I just.
It's a big grant, we get it, if you're gonna retire.
Well,
So I just need the motion second to the approval.
Go the other direction.
I got several.
Evan, so you need like roll call? Okay. I know I took notes down, but you just need like roll call.
And then who motion is seconded to approve the agenda?
Motion is made by Matt.
There's a little dank.
And you guys want to close
Yeah,
session?
I have,
So I need the roll call for all the names, I assume.
5-0.
this is here, I wrote it out.
And then when you guys came out, there was no.
Just to adjourn.
That's all.
Well, I need is this.
I was
So I can just copy and paste this to.
Yeah,
Roll call.
first and second to go into closed session, and then the first and second to come out of closed session, right?
Yep.
I mean, I'll just copy and paste this here right now.
What time do we?
Six.
Yeah, it should.
Worked out 27.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can just, oh, you're gonna use.
I could just type it too. How do I copy and paste?
John's just coming.
There's not a right.
I got the whole thing.
I'm probably in trouble 'cause I'm using
Yeah.
Take a chance.
Seven is a control V.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna call this meeting to order with roll call vote
Ryan House,
here.
Fox,
Here.
Upstroke. Here. Mac. Berglund,
Here.
Jones, Otto, Holbein.
Reading of the district mission and vision statement by Director Fox. Sorry.
Hold up.
Okay.
Our mission, regardless of who you are or what your story is, you can learn and be loved here. Our vision, creating compassionate, competent problem solvers. Our operating principles, information for one is information for all. No surprises, verified facts, think ahead, disagree, that is explain your thinking, and then commit.
Thank you. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
We have 3 additions, so we're gonna look at Jerry Judson to second shift custodian. 17.25 an hour.
Is this in the consent agenda?
No, these are additions to the consent
Oh.
agenda appointments.
What was that then?
Addition of Jerry Judson, second shift custodian at $17.25 an hour. Sarah Vanderworth, National Honor Society for $350, that's total. And then Caitlin Peters was originally on there for the next school year, but we'd like her to start immediately at $15.39 an hour.
Okay. Where does this go?
It's off, it'll go under appointments on the consent agenda.
Oh, appointments on the consent
Yeah,
agenda.
so,
Okay. You have it.
Yep.
Okay.
those
Is
are the appointments I have.
anybody else? Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? No. Thank you. Is there any visitors here for public comment? Committee reports. Matt.
Well, I was
Catherine.
also there. Some of that will actually be going over today, was just confirming senior leadership contracts and then also discussing current stipends that we are just going to maintain as is and let future superintendents review that going forward.
What do we mean by stipends?
There were stipends for,
So we have mileage stipends currently out there for the people who drive around the district and have different duties that way. And then we have the executive team or those additional duties stipends for those additional job responsibilities.
The thing I was wondering about, what did we decide about the Taylor?
Taher,
I mean,
that's coming up here on the
It's in here.
agenda.
all right.
Oh, no, is it?
That one is not, because we're still waiting on the food service and council.
Okay, we're waiting on
So,
the-
our council with that. So
Okay.
that was about it. Matt didn't have anything more he wanted to share.
All right, thank you. Teacher leadership compensation, Marcia DeVore.
Good evening. I'm here tonight really to facilitate any questions that you might have. A few meetings ago, the contracts for our instructional coaches and lead teachers who are part of the teacher leadership compensation program came up, and there were some questions at that time, and Superintendent Fisher addressed those questions. Wanted to give you an opportunity to hear about some of the additional changes that are happening with our teacher leader program, so that as those contracts come up on agendas in the upcoming meetings, that you would be aware of those. So one of the focuses of the district going forward is a very intentional focus around our literacy and math instruction. And so
Literacy and math.
literacy and math. And so in those previous instructional coach positions that you have already approved, we have hired an elementary literacy coach and an elementary math coach, along with an elementary along with a secondary math coach and a secondary literacy coach. Those are full-time positions for those teachers. They will be supporting the work of our teachers in those areas. But we also, in order to continue to encourage our teacher leaders to continue to grow professionally, are offering some stipends for leadership roles at grade levels and within departments. And so you'll be seeing stipend contracts for a grade level literacy PLC facilitator at each of our elementary grade levels. And those individual teachers will be responsible for setting agendas, looking at data, and supporting their team in the work of their grade level moving forward with literacy. We'll also have those same grade level PLC facilitators for math at the elementary and middle school. And then we'll also have at the secondary level content level, because they're more of a 512 content area. So you'll see them, those PLC facilitators working as an ELA facilitator and a math facilitator as well. So those are the biggest changes that you'll see coming forward. So I just kind of wanted to offer an opportunity if there were any additional questions around how the teacher leadership compensation program works. All right, Dr. Schroeder.
So this originally was state of Iowa or Board of Education.
So it originally started from the state of Iowa, and it started out as a grant program in which they wanted to stair-step schools in. And so the first 3 years of the program, schools applied and put together their plans for how they wanted to utilize these funds to meet the goals of providing teachers opportunities for leadership within their current positions, as well as professional growth opportunities within their current districts. And then after that initial rollout, the teacher leader compensation program is now part of the money that the state provides for the state of for each district, and it is designated by student population with kind of a set expectation of how the money should be used. So it's categorical money.
So the teacher, you said there's positions at the elementary level and some.
And at the secondary level, yep.
That means, what secondary is that?
It'd be
6,
middle
7?
school and high school.
Okay, so the elementary K through 4, there's the teacher leader and then you said PLC?
PLC facilitators at each
So
grade
how many
level.
total?
We will be looking district-wide at about 30 PLC facilitators.
Okay, but these are already teachers.
They're
just
teachers. They will continue to be teachers in the
Teachers.
classroom. These will be $1,000 stipends to provide for the extra work that they'll do to support their teams.
So how are they making it? How does those positions help? Let's say an elementary, I don't know exactly what English would be there, whether it's spelling or reading or writing. How does it help that teacher get better results?
So that teacher, as the PLC facilitator is.
Well, no, teacher that's just a teacher. It doesn't have a title
Yep.
other than I'm a teacher.
So our teachers meet weekly with their grade level team. And so one of the expectations that we have is that they are looking at student data. And so the PLC meetings are designed for teachers to identify what are areas of strengths, what are areas of weakness that we need to identify. Do we need to go back and do reteaching? Are there things that we as teachers need to go and learn so that we can help fill this hole for our students? And so the teachers who participate in those meetings, the PLC facilitator leads those. And so then all teachers benefit from the collaborative conversation in their planning for their students.
What does the one that's the teacher leader then do? Is that a different?
The lead teacher at Washington, the lead teacher at Washington, that role is to be supportive for that work, along with behavior, along with coaching of teachers as well.
So when you said they have these meetings every so often, how often again?
Weekly.
Weekly, and they look at data. What data?
So they may look at if we have done MAPS testing. If we've done ISAS testing, they may be looking at unit tests. They may be looking at a particular assignment that every student has completed. It is the data that is part of their daily work.
Okay,
Pat, do you have a question?
Well, I don't have a question, I have a comment, and part of that also is like if one particular section, let's just say,
Absolutely.
with one teacher is, they're being extremely successful in one area, then the
We want that
teachers
teacher to share. absolutely.
share, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And vice versa, if a particular section of students is really struggling, we want the other teachers in that group to be able to offer ideas and suggestions to help. So,
when should the board be made aware of testing results?
so we will expect ISAS test results to be public. Early fall would be my best
How
guess.
often is that one given?
The ISAS, that's yearly.
That's yearly?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
We are in the process of giving our third round of MAPS testing. We can certainly give an update on how those tests have gone here in a summer session, if you would like.
Very much so. How often are those given?
Those are given 3 times a year. We use the MAPS test as kind of our roadmap.
Mhm.
You know, we give it in the fall, and it's a predictive test of
How
how do we
early in
think
the year?
students will do. We give that typically, somewhere between the 3rd and 4th week of school. And then we give it again in the winter and then again in the spring. So again, we're looking to see that growth over time with students.
When you have the meetings, do teachers look at classroom performance compared to grades? Or to those test scores?
Absolutely, certainly, we look at all, one of the things that we talk about in our meetings is that we never want any decision that we make about students to be based on one single piece of data. We want to have a complete picture of a student, and so we would look at multiple pieces of data about a student. We might look at the MAPS test along with classrooms, a unit test in a classroom, along with a particular assignment or the ISAS.
I think it would be helpful, at least for me, if we could see results of those tests when they come out.
I can certainly work with each of the principals to do a presentation on what we've seen.
Or that might be something for the literacy and math people.
Absolutely, as they come on board too, so. If there are no other questions around the teacher leader compensation program, turn it back over to you guys.
Thanks, Marcia.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Marcia. Okay. Substitute resolutions. Kevin, are you going to talk about these?
Yeah, so we brought it up recently. We've talked about it a couple times. So currently we've had substitute shortages across the nation as a whole. But also we wanted to address that in Charles City Schools. So this year we did a $500 for every 30 days of substitute work bonus for teachers. And upon further analyzation, we realized that we had a lot of substitute bus drivers, paraeducators, and we wanted to include them in this substitute bonus for the upcoming 22-23 school year. So after doing some financial analyzation on it, I came up with a proposal with legal counsel of several resolutions that would put teachers eligible for up to 2 $500 bonuses with a $1,000 cap for $500 for 30 days work and another $500 for another 30 days work. So they work 60 total days as a substitute next year. They would receive up to $1,000 in bonus. And be the same thing for bus drivers and para-educators. So these are drafted resolutions by our legal counsel to approve that out of our current ESSER COVID money that we have. And I bring these to the board each year as we see funding available, so.
So this particular one is for which year are you talking about then?
So this is for next school year, 22-23. So there's one on there for bus drivers and paraeducators, and there's also one for the 22-23 teacher substitute as well.
Did we have one for the 2021, 2022?
For teachers only, but not bus drivers and paraeducators.
And then my other question is, when somebody is a teacher substitute, does that just get like communicated through an email, or how would that get documented that they've done those days?
So they have to pick up days, so like if a teacher puts in for a day off, a substitute goes in there, picks it up, so it's right in our frontline system, so that they accept those absences, and they're established employees with us.
Well, how do they know about that?
But like if it's internal, like if it's, like I'm taking the day off and Pat's covering for me, that's what we're talking about, right? Like Pat's getting compensated from my substitute, or no?
We're talking substitutes as a whole, all
Yeah.
substitutes.
I have one question. In section one, part A, the last sentence, payable in 2 installments as determined by senior leadership. I guess, is there a particular person that makes that decision? Is it you, Evan? Is it kind of like the building principal? Just understanding who is gonna verify that they work days and then make sure that you get paid.
So I'm gonna leave that up kind of by campus, because I don't want to be going around every building, make sure that they're, trust the people that they're gonna be there, so they said they work those 30 days and we can sign off on. They'll send it to me and then I'll verify it again. And
Gosh, you asked the question that I was trying to ask.
Oh, sorry, good for me, I don't know.
Way up.
Misunderstood.
Sorry. if I took
No, that's
your
good.
question.
I don't know if you naturally clarified what I was asking,
Yeah.
but that was helpful.
Well, yeah, so I don't know if it's important to just say that, building principals are responsible for it, and then they'll tell Evan that's good, or if you want to use titles, I don't know.
Well, he pays it out in
It's
two
in
different,
front, isn't it? I mean,
one's in December and one's in,
Twice a year.
Well, we pay it out twice a year, so per payroll code, and that's kind of a whole different laws with how many times we pay it out and Microsoft coding, all that other stuff. So we pay it out up to twice a year. Like Marsha was saying, it's approved in frontline, which shows classrooms are covered with approval in frontline and known by the building administrator. And then the building administrator is responsible for just verifying that they actually showed up,
Got it,
which I assume if they can show up, they're gonna reopen it back up and say that it's not billed.
got it.
Sounds like you have a plan.
This has been
Sure.
discussed.
Yeah.
I think that's just a question that Catherine and I had. Just make sure we understand the plan.
but the bottom line here is not only are we paying teachers,
Correct.
substitutes for teachers, we're also going to pay this retention bonus for
That's right.
substitutes for paraeducators and for bus drivers. I just want to make that clear.
Yep.
Is there a motion?
Do we have to read through them?
Yes, we have to read each one.
Yeah, we do.
Do you have a printout? My computer's kind of froze. Or the internet's not working.
I have. Let me read first.
Oh, no, it's working. Okay, do you want me to read them?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the 2022-23 bus driver paraeducator substitute bonus. Whereas the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District recognizes that many school districts across the state are experiencing staffing shortages during the 2021-2022 school year, due in large part to the pandemic and its residual effects, and that staffing shortages have also impacted the operations of the Charles City Community School District. And whereas the Board of Directors has noticed particular shortages in the areas of substitutes for paraeducators and substitutes for bus drivers. And whereas the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District anticipates that said staffing for substitute issues will continue into the 2022-23 school year and will make hiring and retention for these positions next year increasingly challenging. Whereas the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District believes maintaining adequate substitute personnel for paraeducator and bus driver personnel is essential to its educational mission of the district, and that when these substitute positions go unfulfilled, it impedes student learning. And whereas the Charles City Community School District believes that in light of substitute staffing shortages and the coinciding impact upon district operations, it is appropriate to provide a recruitment and retention incentive substitute paraeducators and substitute bus drivers to help ensure they begin employment and remain employed with the district for the 2022-23 school year. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District that the board hereby authorizes the superintendent to facilitate a recruitment and retention incentive payment to qualifying substitute bus drivers and substitute paraeducators as follows. For every 30 days worked, the substitute paraeducator or substitute bus driver would be eligible for a $500 bonus with an annual school year cap per employee of $1,000. payable in 2 installments as determined by senior leadership. One little typo. Are you able to address that? No, will be eligible for, not for.
Second.
Okay. Is there a motion and a second to accept this?
And make a motion to approve the resolutions as presented.
A second.
Moved and seconded to approve the bus driver and paraeducator substitute resolution as read. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion passes 5-0. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay, so House,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Schroeder,
Yes.
Mac,
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
5-0.
All right. Sure. Nothing else on the three. All right, now I will read the 2022-23 teacher substitute bonus retention. Whereas the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District recognizes that many school districts across the state are experiencing staffing shortages during the 2021-2022 school year, due in large part to the pandemic and its residual effects, and that staffing shortages have also impacted the operations of the Charles City Community School District. And whereas the Board of Directors has noticed particular shortages in the area of substitute teachers, and whereas the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District anticipates that said staffing for substitute issues will continue into the 2022-23 school year and will make hiring and retention for these positions next year increasingly challenging. Whereas the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District believes maintaining adequate substitute personnel for teachers is essential to its educational mission of the district, and that when these substitute positions go unfulfilled, it impedes student learning. And whereas the Charles City Community School District believes that in light of substitute staffing shortages and the coinciding impact on district operations, it is appropriate to provide a recruitment and retention incentive to substitute teachers to help ensure they begin employment and remain employed with the district for the 2022-23 school year. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Charles City Community School District that the board hereby authorizes the superintendent to facilitate a recruitment and retention incentive payment to qualifying substitute teachers as follows. For every 30 days worked, the substitute teacher would be eligible for a $500 bonus with an annual school year cap per employee of $1,000, payable in 2 installments as determined by senior leadership and law.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
House,
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Mac,
Yes.
Fox.
Yes.
Schroeder.
Yes.
Thank you. Pass 5-0. All right, thank you, everyone. Lift bus bids. Jerry?
Sneaky Jerry's right.
Jerry, I didn't recognize you out there.
I had my first night of golf tonight, so we had to golf early, so that's why I'm dressed like this. Don't throw that. First of all, thank you for that bus driver bonus. That is so hard to find bus drivers right now, so thank you very much. Sam and I have been driving a ton, so any little bit helps. Thank you for that. So, I put out a RFP, request for proposal for a 65 passenger lift bus. We currently have currently have 3 special ed lift buses. One goes to River Hills, one does an in-town route, and the third one goes into the country for some pickups in the country. The one that goes in the country is our oldest bus in the fleet, barely passes inspection, so we need to replace that. So we're purchasing it through special ed funding, and I sent out 3 RFPs, received back 2. School bus sales was the low bid of $120,339 plus a $350 for larger alternator, which a total price of $120,689. Howland bus sales, which are international buses, was $129,889, and Thomas buses are sort of in a changing right now and did not, they sent me an email, but they did not provide a proposal. So our low bid is school bus sales with a Bluebird.
What's the timeframe? Would they,
Probably October, November, they're that.
either one could do that timeframe then?
Yeah, we need it as quick as we can get it. Our other bus, we've got an inspection coming up. I think it's the end of May. And that's why I'm not sure of the date. They have 3 state inspectors. Our inspector fell on the ice, broke a few bones. So they are currently trying to do it with 2 inspectors. So we got delayed a while. So we, knock on wood, our number 21, our oldest bus, will hopefully pass inspection one more time, get us through till then. Most of the time, if you tell them they got a new bus coming, they'll pass it for us so we can go, but it's getting really rough shape.
Jared, did they give a date of when they anticipate, like, I think what David was asking, like, did they both say, we'll get this to you by October, or did they
Yeah,
not
they're
give
both
that?
about the same range, within 2 to 3 weeks of each other. So, yeah, they both will say this is about 17 to 20 weeks out, and there's no guarantee.
Gotcha.
That's what
Have
they
you
always.
worked with either of
We
them?
get that in every bid now, no matter what it is. It is crazy, so.
Jerry, have you worked with school bus sales or Hoagland Bus Company before?
Both.
Do you have a
We
preference?
bought from all 3. School bus sales right now has been the low bid on the last few buses, and we've had really good luck with
I mean,
them.
they're both easy to, or do you have a preference on who you enjoy working with?
School bus sales right now is what we've really been working with. International, which is Howland. About 3 buses ago, we bought an International, and it's a good bus also. They're all good buses, so that's why we always go with low bid. There's no reason I'd come to you and say, I'd like to go with the second highest bid at this point. You know, if it gets in the future, maybe, but right now, low bid, because all 3 buses are very, very reputable.
It's like the Dodge to Chevy to Ford.
Right. Now, don't ask my mechanic, because he'll tell you one brand. I go with the other one, so sometimes I win, sometimes I don't. So, but Thomas is sort of going through a change in leadership and stuff, so they haven't bid on the last 2, but they do have a new salesman, and he wants to come up and meet me, so I'm sure in the future they'll be very competitive.
You mentioned, or I guess I'm reading in here, it says there's 65 seats on this bus, and I haven't been on a bus. Okay, what's
So-
a typical-
So what that is, all buses are rated at different capacity on the outside. A 65 passenger bus can actually, if it's all seats with no wheelchair lifts and spots, what I mean by that, there's rails on the floor that you strap in your wheelchairs. We have room for 3 wheelchairs in this bus. We're gonna overseat one of the wheelchair spots right now that a seat can come out or go back in. So when you have 2 wheelchairs, you're actually only gonna be able to haul about 37 students on that bus, because it's square inches of your rear. If they're little kids, you can fit more in than that. So on a 65 passenger bus, if you haul all middle school, high school students, the most you're gonna fit on there is 51 passengers at the most.
So this bus is specifically designed for kids who have that need,
Mhm.
and it would be the only bus that we have in the fleet that does that.
No, we have 3 of them, but this will be our largest one. We went with a bigger lift bus this time. The last times we only went with a 42 passenger, and the one before that was like a 30, I think, don't quote me exactly, around a 37. They're full. So we decided to go with a bigger bus this time. And when we buy all our route buses, we're gonna ask for 71 or 72 passengers. We won't buy us a route bus anymore. That's 65. It just, you can't get drivers, and the routes are bigger, and so that's what we did. So, and I know last time, Dr. Short had a question on, did you get bids? So from now on, every time, I'll make sure I tell you everyone I get a bid for, and if they deny giving us a bid, at least we put it out there. And that's what ours is, that's what it is for the state. You've got to offer it, and if you only get 1 bid, at least we sent that RFP out to everyone. So that one we sent out 3 of them, and that's really the only 3 bus companies there are right now for us.
I will make a motion to approve the bid from school bus sales to purchase a lift bus out of special education funding as presented.
One second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the bid from school bus sales to purchase a lift bus out of special education funding as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Passes 5-0. You're up next, kindergarten flooring.
All right, same, so the first one was out of special ed funding. This one is the flooring for Washington School. Once we do this project, Washington School will have 100% new flooring within the last 4 years, so we got one building done, thank goodness. Anyway, this one will be paid for out of COVID money, out of my COVID money, so each school has COVID money, and then plant operations has COVID money also. We did all preschool last year with COVID money, and this year we're doing all the kindergarten area, this kindergarten at this time anyway, and like 3 other rooms that need to be done throughout the building. We're going to a hard surface floor, and the reason you can do that with COVID is because, carpet, you see. All right, so I sent out 3 RFPs for this one. I received 2 back. The third one I didn't put down. It was a local company. I didn't want to put that in that they did not bid, so I'm not going to say who does, but the 2 I got bids from was Hilligus Flooring, which is here in Charles City, and then LNC Builders out of New Hampton. Hilligus Flooring is the lowest bid, and they've done about 100% of our flooring lately. They are a little bit. It was about a $3,000 difference, as you can see, just under 3,000. So that's what I have there. And again, there's no reason I'd want to go to any but the low bid in this also.
We'll make a motion to approve Hilligus flooring for $76,894.08 out of ESSER 3 funds to replace the kindergarten flooring at Washington Elementary.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Hilligus flooring for $76,894.08 out of ESSER 3 funds to replace the kindergarten flooring at Washington Elementary. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign, or say no. Sorry. 10, Superintendent Contract. The Board of Directors selected Ann Lundquist, it's been 2 weeks now? 2 weeks ago, to serve as the interim superintendent of Charles City Community Schools. We've agreed with Ann on a established contract. So, any questions or?
I'll make a motion to approve Ann Lundquist as the interim superintendent for 1 year, effective July 1st, 2022, ending June 30th, 2023. Salary of $170,000 and benefits to match the established senior leadership package.
It's been moved and seconded to approve Ann Lundquist as the interim superintendent for 1 year, effective July 1st, 2022, and ending June 30th, 2023, with the salary of $170,000 and benefits to match the established senior leadership package. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Ian, higher. Good job. Okay, number 11, senior leader contracts. Finance Committee of the Board of Directors recommends a 2.5% salary increase for all senior leaders.
I'll make a motion to approve the Finance Committee's recommendation of a 2.5% salary increase for all senior leaders for the 2022-23 school year.
And I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Finance Committee's recommendation of a 2.5% salary increase for all senior leaders for the 2022-23 school year. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion passes 5-0. Administrative support contracts. The current practice in Charles City Community Schools is to increase administrative support non-union at the same hourly rate as the Charles City Community Educational Services Association group. The Board of Directors approved on April 11th, 2022 at $1 an hour increase for all classified staff for the 2022-23 school year. Any questions about that? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve that administrative support staff to receive a $1 an hour increase for the 2022-23 school year.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the administrative support staff to receive a $1 an hour increase for the 2022-23 school year. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, passes 5-0. Other licensed contracts, non-union by law. Do you want to explain that maybe?
Yeah, we got a couple licensed employees that essentially receive some grant funding from the state or the federal government to provide services for us. And so by law, they cannot be part of the union because they are grant funded. Our juvenile court liaison, our CAP program coordinator, they all fall under that. So they're licensed employees, but they don't fall under the union. Does that kind of answer your questions?
So we just need the motion. I'll make the motion to approve the non-union licensed employees 3% increase in salary for the 2022-23 school year.
Full second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve non-union licensed employees for a 3% increase in salary for the 2022-23 school year. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Passes 5-0. Graduating seniors. The following attached graduates have been verified to meet all the requirements of graduation. No,
I think I'm going to approve the graduating seniors as presented for the 2021.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to approve the graduating seniors as presented for the 2021-22 school year. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Thank you.
We made a point of congratulating them. Well, job well done, seniors.
Yes. Okay. Consideration of the consent agenda is there as amended. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
As amended. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Important upcoming dates, May 22nd, 2022, 1:30 p.m. graduation, Comet Gym, May 23rd, 6:15 p.m. school board meeting in the high school library. Is everyone planning on coming to graduation?
Yeah.
Have you let Brian know, everybody?
I said.
Got my
All right,
first code ready.
good. Can I add another? On May 28th, I think it's the Saturday, the next Saturday is the Kerry Lane graduation. If anybody's interested in attending that, we don't hand out diplomas or anything there, but sometimes it's nice to support that group of students too. Okay, anything else?
What time is that one?
I'm not sure, David, but I'll get back to you on it, okay?
Please.
Okay, and you've got your barbecue invitation for Thursday. We're gonna put a social agenda just so in case we're all there at the same time,
Oh, sure.
people know that we're just socializing. Okay. The meeting is adjourned at 7:15 p.m. Thank you.
Thanks.